I play me, I'm on the move. I get it because you're a cow, moo and that, but that's not. This is a relegation 6-pointer. There's a lot at stake here. Like, this guy's really milking these at this point. Oh my. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This of course is the series where it brings you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, over in Asia, and the Chinese government have set a limit on how much kids can play video games, banning them from playing them at all during the week. Take me to China so I don't have to play this pile of shit game. Pro Clubs players over there are living the life, though it's pretty gutting if you need 2 wins for Weekend League at 11:57 on Sunday night.
Oh, let's go! That's class!
Onto the football though now, and it's been a relatively quiet week.
Manchester City's Benjamin Mendy.
Yeah, it's been mad. Now let's start with big old Ron, who shocked the footballing world by sidestepping City to join former side Manchester United. Red Devils fans who'd called him a snake earlier in the week were now rushing to delete abusive tweets made about him and attempt to unburn their shirts. But let's wind back to earlier in the week. It all started with a video of Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Turin on a private jet. Where though, I hear you ask, would the plane land? Luton Airport. Yeah, man. It would be Manchester. But with Cristiano bunning off Man City, presumably because Pep asked him to play as a sweeping box-to-box wing-back trequartista, and Big Ron was back at Old Trafford. Juventus fans were confident they wouldn't even need him until they weren't. But United players themselves must be gassed as well. Anthony Martial was mesmerised in training. Fucking, how do you even do that? Not sure Ronaldo himself will share the same sentiment watching Nemanja Matic in 6-a-side. And it won't get much better when he realises he can't have the number 7. He might as well drag it off Edinson Cavani himself. To be honest, he might as well just take over altogether when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is 2-1 down away at Watford. And with this move, Cristiano Jr. now is in United's academy, alongside Wayne Rooney's son as well. There's going to be some outrageous scorelines when those two are up top versus the under-12s. And the grind will not stop here in Manchester for Cristiano Jr. I just want to play FIFA, Dad. Kids in China can't play video games on a Wednesday, so what makes you think you can? That it's 3:30 in the morning. Now, whilst Cristiano Ronaldo was signing for Manchester United, Lionel Messi was making his debut for Paris Saint-Germain in a 2-0 win over Reims. PSG fans in the crowd were in shock that he was even here. Oui, bon, bon. As he made a 30-minute cameo appearance from the bench. He's gonna be gutted when the French side tell him there's no growth hormones here.
How do you feel? Distraught.
Kylian Mbappe stole the show with both goals, but his future at PSG lies in the balance. That after Real put a £200 million bid in for the French star boy. Florentino Perez needed the Super League for money, you say?
Did you see what I did there?
It's a scam.
And the worst thing is, Kylian wants to actually go there. He's swapping Neymar and Messi for Nacho and Lucas Vazquez. Or even maybe he was just bored of Neymar's sister stories. So basically, it was my birthday, right? And she was looking buff still. The brother of Paris Saint-Germain's owner was having absolutely none of it, however, saying Real would simply have to pay the amount of money they wanted. Otherwise, they were going to have to keep playing the golfer. Fucking hell, you didn't need to do Gareth Bale like that. It's a Housery award for Mr. Altani. Now, in the Premier League, and its normal service resumed for Arsenal because they lost.
Fucking hell, Robbie! When is it gonna end?
The Gunners suffered a 5-0 drubbing at the hands of reigning champions Man City. I'm starting to realise Pep's master plan. He hired Mikel Arteta, made him his number 2, taught him all the wrong skills and wrong things, gassed him up in interviews just so that Arsenal would hire him and then he would lose to Pep City. He probably didn't even need to do that. He could beat Arsenal anyway. These lot are in the mud. They're bottom of the table and Mesut Ozil's tweeting them this at full time about trusting the process.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
He's got more points above the O in his name than Arsenal have in the league. To be fair, this process is simply not processing. It's stuck on 3%. The internet is down. They've had to call up customer services. The whole internet providers in administration. They've then used a 3G hotspot, then realized the mobile providers in administration as well. Their win probability against City at 2-0 was 1%. 1! They're getting violated on Sky Sports News.
Where do you think they're going to finish this season? What do you think's gone wrong with their, transfer activities?
They've got a relegation battle next week against Norwich.
Even divine intervention is against them in this football match. There was news released later in the evening that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and some of the other players were to hold an emergency meeting to discuss the start of the season. What's Aubameyang gonna do? He played better when he had malaria. He'll just be dancing in the background. And all of this as well after Ainsley Maitland-Niles took to an Instagram story to plead with Arsenal to let him go out on loan so that he could go somewhere where he felt loved and play some football. This is a hostage situation. It's like a West African dictatorship at the Emirates right now. Everyone's calling him unprofessional because he didn't say it behind closed doors and went to Insta. Fam, Arsenal are unprofessional. It's just outrageous. You wonder really how it can get any worse. No, that's it. No, I'm not having this. I can't do this. I have to clarify, this is an extremely alleged rumour that Alexander Lacazette and Martin Odegaard may have had some level of intercourse at Arsenal's training ground. Arsenal all or nothing, am I right? This is raucous. You're going to have to put this whole documentary on a different website. Lacazette's heat map is going to be looking absolutely crazy at the training side. I can't stress this enough. This is actually nuts. That was a bad choice of words looking at the situation. This is outrageous. We cross over to live scenes of Martin Odegaard in the showers.
In that position, I just have to smash it.
Now look, I don't think this is true whatsoever. I'm pretty sure it is in fact made up. But regardless, out on the pitch at least, they need to stiffen up. Once again, probably could have chosen better words. Elsewhere, and there was controversy at Anfield as Chelsea drew 1-1 with Liverpool. Reece James was sent off for handball on the line by referee Anthony Taylor, and Thomas Tuchel was so annoyed that he became an MC.
Draw for the tool. Go on and think I'm a fool. Go on and draw for the mash. Go on and still wanna clash. Go on and.
Judging from Marcos Alonso's socials, he's still not much of a fan of Anthony Taylor either. But lads, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a clear red card. Alright, I know I'm a Liverpool fan, but like, get a grip. I don't actually think he's done it intentionally, it's just come at him. But it doesn't matter whether it's intentional, that's actually irrelevant. The rules are that his arm's in an unnatural position. It's just because he didn't do the Luis Suarez v Ghana doesn't mean it's not a red. It doesn't matter anyway. This is actually bad news for Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp's got no chance of getting £3.5 million for a backup winger now after we've drawn against the European champions.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
FSG forgot it was even a transfer window. We were announcing Jordan Henderson and Nat Phillips getting new deals. New contracts do not count as signings, lads. We might as well have made graphics for the dinner ladies getting new salaries. The Champions League group stage draw took place this week. Tyler Adams' Leipzig were given a tough group against Paris Saint-Germain and City. His reaction was priceless.
Together with Manchester City, we can say that we have a competitive group.
Yes, to say the least.
Yes. Next.
No!
Meanwhile, Barcelona are in a group with Bayern Munich, and they'll be getting flashbacks to that semi-final pretty imminently, with Luke de Jong up top. These lot are finished. Speaking of Barca, and Ronald Koeman is under fire online after appearing to send Samuel Umtiti to warm up by the touchline, purely so that fans could boo him in an attempt to force him out of the club. After what Koeman did to Oumar Niasse at Everton, I wouldn't be surprised. If I was Umtiti, I'd sprint down the touchline, rip off my shirt, knee slide, and tell the assistant to suck his nan by association. One player who has got out of Barcelona, though, is fullback Emerson Royal, just a month after arriving. He was showcased in front of Barca fans for the first time in August, but has now moved to Spurs right at the end of the month. Is Arteta managing Barcelona as well? He genuinely saw the mess over there and skedaddled. The final straw was was being asked to take a pay cut during his own medical. At Newcastle now, and they've signed a young Mexican striker by the name Santiago Munoz. The dream now begins for the forward, who shares the same name and hopefully for him career path as the main protagonist from the Goal films back in the day. But they've genuinely signed this man for vibes alone. You need about 9 first team players, and Steve Bruce's transfer policy is illegally streaming films. And at Burnley, they've signed Ivorian wingback Maxwell Cornet in the most exotic addition to that town since its conception. Sean Dyche probably thought he was ordering an ice cream on Deliveroo, and I can't wait for him to attempt to communicate with the latest arrival.
All everybody speak about is this tackle. Nobody speaks about
Now back at City, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, lads. I'm not gonna talk too much about this one. It's a very sensitive story with very sensitive outcomes. This man can't defend versus Spurs. I don't know how he's gonna defend himself in court. But Benjamin Mendy has been suspended by the club officially, pending the case that's going on right now. And it's absolutely fucking mental, to be honest with you. But more than anything else whatsoever, I'd want to send my best wishes to the women that are involved and hope that they're getting over the situation and aren't brought into the spotlight in any way during the process of this ordeal. Now in lighter news, and over in Germany, Bayern Munich beat 5th tier FC Bremer 12-0 in the DFB Pokal. It all looked so close until the 28th minute. Over in Turkey, and Italian forward Mario Balotelli didn't take too kindly to being substituted in Adana Demirspor's recent game.
56. dakikada kenara geldi. Biraz da sinirli Mario Balotelli.
In Spain, and FC Ibiza have signed a player literally called Ibiza. I can't wait for him to double pivot with David Guetta. After a recent victory for Jose Mourinho's Roma, he celebrated with the players with pizza on the team bus. I can't wait for an Instagram post about this one. And at Frankfurt, there's a very ridiculous story going on involving Filip Kostic. Negotiators at the club intentionally gave Serie A outfit Lazio their wrong email address so they couldn't make a bid for the winger. Don't admit to it, lads. You were doing so well. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty. And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Closer to home, and League One Wigan Athletic had a minute's applause before kick-off in a recent game for a fan who sadly passed away. His name was Keith, and he was a duck. They had a minute's silence for a duck. I'm absolutely devastated at this news. In Spain, and Casemiro may have misjudged this slide tackle slightly, you can't tackle one of your own teammates, lad. Come on. And in Belgium, Royal Antwerp's manager promised he would conduct a press conference with no clothes on if his club qualified for the Europa League this week. They won on penalties, and this was the scene in the press conference. But now, boys and girls, it's time for the FNG Transfer Roundup. And this one is brought to you, ladies and gentlemen, by Fabrizio Romano when he's not distracted by ours. Our first story comes in the form of Serge Aurier having his contract mutually terminated by Tottenham. If only Sky Sports had used pictures of him to describe the story, rather than his teammate Tanguy Ndombele.
Tottenham and Serge Aurier are in talks this evening over a mutual contract termination.
Further good news though for Tottenham is that Harry Kane will in fact stay at the club. Over at Leeds now, and what's that in the background? I won't lie to you, I felt a little bit left out not being included in this. The missus is having a go at me, and at Leeds, and they've agreed to sign Daniel James for £25 million from Manchester United. The Welshman originally should have signed for Leeds 2 years ago, but United hijacked the deal. Leeds fans may want to change their opinions and chants on him now.
You're too shit! You're too shit to play for Leeds! You're too shit!
And our final story involves Barcelona, who have agreed to sell Antoine Griezmann back to Atletico Madrid for a third of the price they bought him for. I have nothing to say, it's just simply funny, innit? Now though, it is time for the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, this country just never ceases to amaze me. We've got two stories once more in the wonderful land of Romania. First of all, a second division clash between FC Buzău and Unirea Constanta that ended 14-0 to the home side. And the second story being perhaps the best in RTW history. In the third round of the Romanian Cup, we have a third division goalkeeper stepping up for a free kick in the 86th minute and slapping it into the back of the net, cueing absolute chaos in the crowd. So we're in Scandinavia now. I think it's Norway. We've got a bride kicking off a football match in a game. I do not ask questions. I don't know how this has happened. This is one hell of a honeymoon. And elsewhere, we've got yet another dog intervening in play. This time, he was such a good boy that he waited until a training session to get involved rather than an actual game. Now though, it is time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. Last week, we had the finesse of an unbelievable nutmeg. This time, we're back to all-out war and scrapping, I'll be honest. In a game involving local rivals Macclesfield and Congleton Town, a mass brawl broke out in the stands, and the game literally had to be stopped, as none other than Robbie Savage, who was for some reason on the scene, tried to intervene and stop it from happening. I just don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how any of these things happened, but it's glorious. On to the weird stuff though now. In the newly formed third division in Spain that's come about due to league restructuring, the first ever goal in this newly structured league was scored and history was made. This is the goal that went in.
Y esta temporada sí que lo ha hecho. Sí que ha llegado al Rayo Majadahonda. Ojo porque se puede complicar Cristian Galas. El balón que no lo consigue despejar. Dani Sotres llega al gol. ¡Gol!
In Indonesia, and we've got a goalkeeper making a hash of a kick away, only for the referee to disallow the goal that was then tapped into the back of the net. They're both as incompetent as each other. He just literally miskicked the ball. And our final story comes from the homeland, Nigeria. Now, it involves unnamed clubs and unnamed players, which isn't massively helpful. But basically, what has happened here is a Nigerian team has loaned out a player to another unnamed Nigerian team, only for the second Nigerian team to sell him without the permission of the parent club. This is the most Nigerian thing to ever happen. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.